Hello, my name is Cordelle+Brown. This is my presentation of how international players in the MLB or the Major League Baseball Association begin to get recruited to play. Well, in this case, it will be Dominican baseball players and how they get recruited to play in the major leagues in a higher level of baseball. So, first off, I chose this topic because growing up, I have always had a love for playing baseball, and I've always liked playing it. Um, and something I never fully known about baseball is how people from different countries, well, in my case, will be Dominican Republic, but in general, how people from different countries get recruited to play in the major leagues. So as I stated, I've also had curiosity on how players from other countries get recruited to play in an American League. Um, so, for people who do not understand or don't know, the MLB is an organization where some of the best players in the world, everywhere, get drafted to play for one of the 30 teams in the league. Each team, every year, plays 162 games and eventually rank to make the playoffs and help their team win a World Series. And the World Series is like the baseball Super Bowl, or like the big thing in baseball. Okay, so my planning schedule doing this, it was between 3 months, which is January, February, March. Um, so in January, I watched and compared various Dominican MLB players that are already in the league from like 25 years ago, like the 80s and 90s, and compared to the players that are like Dominican now that play in the league. And like I've I discovered that players at that time period in baseball have different play styles than people from now, and they have different goals and ways they view passions for the game of baseball. So in February, I did research the requirements of the international players and what is needed for them to be able to play in American League. And doing that, I discovered that in order for any international foreign player to be eligible to play in the major leagues, they must have a P1 visa. And I will show the March column of this planning schedule. So it's not shown um, in the presentation, like you can't see it because it's cut off for some reason. But what I said for March, I did a deeper dive into research on international recruiting and requirements on MLB's websites and baseball blogs and trust websites that share important information. And I learned that international players have exactly 1 month in the off season between December 15th and January 15th to be signed and played for a minor league association and make their way up to the major leagues. Um, it states that you must turn 16 before you sign, and you have to be turning 17 by the time, well, before September, or by the time spring training starts and people start getting drafted. Um, this slide is for the research and ATL skills. Um, I use organization by sorting information separately and keeping each slide about its own like part of information. And I used it's a little small like in the PowerPoint, but I used this media literacy and grabbed exact information from the sites that I did in research, and like I quoted things from the sites and the blogs that to put and that would fit into the project I'm doing. Um, so through the process, like I had a few like ups and downs, which is like it's not a bad thing. It's really normal for everyone because they help me better understand what I'm really like speaking about. With some things to find, like were challenging to find, it's challenging to speak on. So what I found easy during my process is the availability. There's so much things that can help me research like what I need for a project, and like the research links and websites where I can find good information that will make sense and it would be relevant to the project I'm doing. It also gave me exact searches about the place I'm searching and not just in general. I think the only fail I had with this process is me being able to make a real life impact and actually give a visual of what the Dominican Republic to American baseball process actually looks like and what is needed to do. Um, my learning goal for this project was to fully have an understanding of MLB's international trading and signing system, as well as learning what is needed to do so. So I feel like after finishing the project, I feel like I met my goal. Um, so now we're gonna get deeper into like the MLB and like what actually goes on. So I discovered that in order for, like I said in the previous slides, I discovered that in order for any international player in the world to play in the major leagues, they must have a P1 visa, and it must be 16 turning 17 before September. These are a few of the Dominican MLB players in the league, right? Like, are now Hall of Famers or are currently in the league right now. I use four different links from like the New York Times, baseball, MLB, and like two of them are blogs. And then for my success criteria, I did note taking, proper representation, and research, and I listed it on like, well, one to two being like finding nothing or like not being relevant to the project I'm doing. Three and four is like being on topic but not really giving information that can help people understand. 5 and 6 is giving information but is still missing some key points that can be helpful. And then 7 through 8 is having key points through a presentation that can be helpful and that can help people understand the topic that I'm speaking about. So this is my project, and I appreciate everyone for listening. Thank you.